Hi, welcome, my dear students. So in this lecture here, we're going to learn a little bit about functions. So the way we create functions in C is a little different than in other languages, but it's also very similar than in other languages. Now, if you notice, if you remember that we talked a little bit about the main function. Every program in C is going to have a main function. Now, because we have a main function doesn't mean that all our code needs to be written inside this function. It just means that we need to make sure that all the hooks are inside this function. All the function calls, all the stuff that we need to run. Okay, this is gonna be the main hook for our programs to run. So, saying that, we can go ahead and start declaring, okay, functions outside here. Right above the main function, I can start playing around with some functions, okay? Now, I can say, well, now I'm going to explain something to you. Remember that this data type here is just signifying that the function is going to return some type of integer, okay? But right now, I could use the void if I don't want to return anything in a function, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to say display, I'm going to write this display greeting. I'm just going to, just like that, and this is also going to take our null parameters. Simple as that. Okay, make sure you save it, and it says on use declaration. So yeah, we are declaring it, but we're not using it yet. Okay, so now I'm going to grab this here, and I'm going to go all the way to the bottom there, and I'm going to paste it there. I'm going to open some curly brackets, and then I'm going to write my code down here. Okay, so I'm going to use puts, and I'm just going to write something to the screen. Hola amigos means hi friends. This is Edwin Diaz. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to save it. And now I need to actually call this function. So I'm going to grab the name of the function and right inside the main function before the return, because this is the main function right here, the curly bracket at the end, I'm going to call that function just like that. Okay? And then I'm going to press play or run, and it says, hola amigos, this is Edwin Diaz. See that? So I can have all my declarations of functions up here. Okay, and then I could start calling them here inside the main function. Okay, just like I did below. I just have a lot of code here, and I didn't want to put more code up here. So let's do another one. All right, let's do one that has integer, return value or something, or let's just put int here, and I'm just gonna say calculate number, this number, just something simple. Okay, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to say int value 1, put a comma, and then int value 2, just like that. And if I put my mouse over here, my IDE is going to tell me it's unused. Okay, so just like we did before, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to write that function. Let's go up again and get the function name because I forgot already. So I'm just going to grab all this, and let's go all the way to the bottom here, and right below this one, that's exactly where I'm going to put this one. I'm just going to put int. Okay. Now, one thing to keep in mind, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, is that everything you declare outside of the main function is global. Okay. So this is the main function right here, and everything you declare outside is global. So I could easily go ahead and declare some variables up here if I wanted to, value 1 or values or whatever, and they would be available throughout the whole program. Okay, this would be global variables just like in any other language. Okay, outside global variables, that we can use throughout the whole program. Okay, so right now let's go back to the calculate function here. And what I'm gonna do is, as a matter of fact, that result was very useful. Let me just go up and just leave it there. Int and result. I'm just not gonna do anything more, and that would be an int. And I'm just gonna say result. Here would be value 1 plus value 2. Okay, simple as that. And then I can just return print f. The calculation is and then I'm going to put my specifier here for an int d, and then the result right here, just like that. Okay, calculation. It's telling me it's not spelled correctly. That's pretty useful. So now we have this function here, but we have there's nothing else here. There's no calls yet. I'm gonna copy this so I can call it with some values. I'm gonna call it right below this one, and I'm gonna add just 2 numbers. I'm gonna add 1, 4, and that's the numbers I'm going to add. And if I play this, you can see now the calculation is 5, 1 plus 4. Okay, and of course you can return the result, and you can see that that underlying error goes away. Okay, but I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. But just know that you can, anytime you want, return, and your errors will go away if you return an int. Okay, if you leave it by itself and you play it, you can see that it still works, but this will be missing, so it defaults to int anyway. Okay, so once you don't put anything here, it defaults to int. Okay, but anyway, I'm just gonna leave it like this. And that's it, guys. That's it for functions. And there is a lot of pre-built functions that you can play around with. You can easily find out which ones they are. We're already using printf. We're using put. We're going to use a couple more later on, but these are pre-built functions that you can play around with. And we're probably going to have a little section where we play around a little bit with a couple of them, so that way you guys can see how, you know, to do things in C with those pre-built functions. But this is it for function, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Everything you guys do for me when watching my lectures, you know, getting my other courses that I have on programming, and sending me those really nice feedbacks and messages over email on the platforms. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next lecture, guys. Take care. Just parking my vehicle here. How are you guys? I hope you're having a good day today. Because today we're going to be learning about if statements, control structures, or what is the other name for this thing here? If statements, control structures, decision-making code. Well, you get it. If statements. All right. So in most languages, we have if statements to help us make decisions, to help our program make decisions, right? So let's just go ahead and get it over with. If statements in C, it's super simple. If 10 is equal to 10, then it's true. It's true. Let's just put it like that. That's it. Just the same thing as we do in other languages. If we want an else statement, of course, that could be arranged. Okay. Is not true. Okay. Let's do it. There we go. It's true. If it wasn't, then And this is where the logical operators will execute. Okay, this is where the local logical operators will be used, right? And things like this, just like this equal then symbol, equality symbol. So we can also do ifs, else if statements, okay? Just like we do in any other language. But let me show you another syntax here that we can use. So if I wanted to, I can build something a little bit more complex. I can say if 10 equals 10, and then I'm just gonna say puts, you saw what I did there, right? Is true. Okay, that would be the same thing as having the curly brackets. It's just that I'm not using it here. What about if I put another puts? Would that work? Let's see. Hey, there we go. Look at that. It works. And what I like about puts is that it puts a new line for me. I don't have to do that. So that works. What about the else statement? Where can we put that here? Well, we can do it at the same level here, else. And we can just put something here. Something like it's not. And then 9. Make sure you save it. I'm really saving it. I'm doing it really fast with my keyboard. You see that? What about else if statement? Well, I can do else if, and I can say if 3 is equal to 3 to 2. Let's just do 3 so it equals, and then we put puts down here, and we can say is true. Okay. What is it telling me here? Well, let's just do this here. There we go. That is more like it. Okay, and then we can have another else here and another if, and we can just say if 20 or whatever it's not equal, that will. Okay, something like that. And you can see that we can build more complex stuff, and the code looks really nice without those curly brackets. But it's up to you however you want to do it. Just keep in mind of the indentation, okay? And C is going to detect which if statement is going to execute before the other. Of course, the ones outside are going to execute, you know, before the ones inside. And depends on the conditioner here that you have as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this lecture, guys. As you can see, it's super easy to control the flow of your programs with if statements in the C programming language. It's very similar, as a matter of fact, identical to other languages out there like JavaScript and PHP. Right? See you in the next lecture, guys. Take care. Anyway, guys, so in this lecture, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be learning about loops, finally. So, of course, I'm assuming that you guys, and I've been telling you since the beginning of the course, I'm assuming you already know about programming, okay? I'm just repeating that because if things start getting hard, it's because you guys need to know at least the fundamentals. So we're going to talk about loops, and we know that loops is responsible for repeating code for us, things that we don't want to do over and over again, copy and pasting and writing a lot of the same code. Loops are going to be good for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a variable here. I'm going to give it I'm going to assign it a value as well. So let's just do something we haven't done before. Let's just call it brand, and I'm just going to give it a value of BMW, right? And I'm going to, as a matter of fact, let's just do something value X. Let's just do something simpler than that. Let's just do value X, and let's just do number 2 here, okay? And what I want to do is I want to start looping through to some of this data. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say while the value X is smaller than 5, keep looping, keep repeating or executing whatever code I'm going to give you. And this code, of course, is inside this curly bracket, just like we're doing that in other programming languages. And I'm going to, right here, print F, and I'm just gonna say something like, hey, many times, and I'm just gonna put the percent and then the D for int, and I'm going to give it the value as right here. And those of you that have already that know this stuff, know at least programming, you know what I'm doing. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the plus plus to give my value at, to increment my value at every time the code is being repeated. Okay, so watch this. I'm gonna start actually at 0, and okay, as you can see, it says many times 0, many times 1, many times 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let me just do a new line here so that way you guys can see it better. You got it? 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So while value x is smaller than 5, keep looping. Okay, when it goes around the first time, it's smaller than 0, of course, and so on and so on. And when it gets to 5, it says, yeah, I am smaller, so I'm just gonna print out 4. It doesn't print out 5 because it's already the same or greater. Okay, so that's the while loop. Let's talk about the there's another loop, the do while. Let's say while loop here, and let's do the do while. Let's do it right here. So the do while is basically the opposite of this. This is going to start doing something right away, evaluating it right away. The do while, of course, you should know about this one, but if you don't, I'm going to tell you. The do while is going to do something before it repeats the code. So right now we say we do, just like that, and we're going to print something here. Print, let's just do here value. I'm gonna call it index, or I'm just gonna call it the index. Sometimes some keywords are reserved for the for your code, so you better be careful using like one word popular keywords. Okay, so print F, or let's just put, yeah, the print F is fine. And I'm just gonna put many more, and then the D, and I'm just gonna say the index here. Okay, but of course we haven't finished with this. We need to give it some type of comparison here. So we're just gonna say while the index is smaller than 0, well, smaller than, let's do 10 this time. Okay, then we're gonna be executing something there. Okay, so I hope you see how this works. Let's I'm going to comment this one out, and I'm going to play it or run it. And as you can see, many more, but we have a problem. We're not increasing the number, so it's gonna return unlimited. Okay, so let's hopefully my program is not, it stops, hopefully. So let's go ahead and increment it with it, right? So right here, it's probably still doing it, so I need to stop it. The index and I just need to do plus plus. Let me see if my program will stop just this way. Still running, so I need to stop it. There we go. Let's stop this execution. There we go. And then wait for this to finish. There we go. So hopefully I am good. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. My computer was running an infinite loop that you don't want to actually do. If you don't increment the index, or whatever counter you have, then you're gonna have a unlimited loop, and that could crash your computer. Okay, so as you can see, it's working, but I need to put a new line here. Make sure you save it, and you can see now that it goes to 9. Okay, so we do something before with the curly brackets. You can see it. All right, then we increment it before we get to the comparison down here on the while. The while is the last one. Let's do one more, which is going to be the for loop. Okay, so one more, and this one is super simple. This for loop is identical to how we do it in other languages. We just say for, and we specify, let's use this index right here. Okay, and let's just comment this out. I'm gonna use this index, and I'm gonna say this index is equal to, as a matter of fact, let's create another one down here. It's better to use another one separately. Okay, I'm gonna leave that one that way, and I'm just gonna put here counter. Let's just do counter, and I'm gonna put a value here for counter. Now we put a comma to go and put the next parameter here for this function. Believe it or not, this is a function, and it's not a comma, it's a semicolon. This is a function here. Okay, the for, you see the name and the parentheses. So, but anyway, so we pass the first parameter, counter, which would be the value, right? And then here we could play around with the value. We can say counter, as long as counter equals to 20, then you could grab counter and increment it, and then execute this code right here. Super simple. I'm just gonna do printf, and this time I'm just gonna do counter. Okay, make sure you save it and compile this baby, and let's see what it has. There we go. See that? Super simple, guys. This is the same way we do it in other languages, just like JavaScript or PHP. Perfect. This is the while loop, as you saw it there. While loop, the do while, and the for loop. We had a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next lecture.